Hi guys and happy new year. My name is Bhooki and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, and if you're old, thank you for coming back. I really do appreciate it. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the questions that I get when I upload a video on Facebook regarding what to expect when people want to learn how to sew. But I'm not going to answer all the questions. I'm just going to pick one in particular that keeps coming up all the time. So without wasting your time, let's get to it. So the question I get a lot is, which one is better, a fashion school or a tailor's shop? So for those of you who do not know, a fashion school is more like an educational system that is very structured and organized, and they cater to teaching people about fashion design and business related topics as well that has to do with fashion. It has more of a classroom setting where you have the teacher and the students. Tailor shop are usually those small retail shops that you find around your house or in your community, where you usually go to sew your garments, your clothes and things like that. And they offer apprenticeship to students, to people who want to learn. So which one is better? So when I answer this question, I always say it depends. It depends on what you're looking for. There's so many things that it would probably depend on, but I'm just going to pick four. So one is proximity. So how close is a fashion school to your house as opposed to a tailor shop? Now, coming from Nigeria, I definitely know that there are more tailor shops around your house as opposed to a fashion school. I know nowadays there are a lot of upcoming fashion schools, which is great, but is it closer to your house or where you live or where you intend traveling from? So that is usually a factor. Are you willing to travel? Because you need to understand that if you live far from the fashion school, you have to think about traveling to and fro from the fashion school. Is it going to be stressful? You don't want to live in Festac, for instance, and then travel all the way to VI or Sulere or wherever on the island to learn how to sew. You have to think about traffic and things like that. If you're not a morning person, you're probably not going to like waking up in the morning to travel and then coming back late at night. Tailor shops, like I said, are everywhere. One is probably in your backyard or beside you, so you're more likely to just, be refreshed in the morning when you're going there to learn how to sew. So proximity plays a factor. Number two is, what are they offering? Now, you're more likely to get a lot from a fashion school as opposed to a tailor shop. A fashion school would have syllabus, they will have timetables, projects, assessments, and things like that that helps in improving the skill they are learning. And then they offer other small courses like business management and things like that. So you probably get more value for your money. And also we're talking about equipment. They will have more sewing machines, overlockers, table space and things like that that you can use to learn, and it's usually one sewing machine per one student, so you're not struggling with other students to for machines and things like that, as opposed to a tailor shop where it's probably two machines or three or five, but those five might be shared by 10 students, so you're all going to be struggling. So a fashion school would be better, but you might be lucky where is 5 sewing machines that a tailor shop has and they have just 2 students. So you really can't tell until you go there to find out. You also have to think about how many students they have. So a fashion school can have like 20 students, 30 students, 10 students, 5 students. So you have to think about, how efficient it's going to be for all the students to learn at the same time. But the good thing is you're all on the same level. So it's not like a tailor shop whereby you're learning how to sew today. There's somebody there that's been learning for 10 years, one has been learning for 2 years, one has been learning for 3 years. So you're all on different levels where, it's going to be confusing. So your boss would have to think about when they're going to teach you how to sew a skirt, because the 10-year student has been learning skirt for the past 10 years. Do you understand? Like it's going to be a mismatch and it might be confusing. But the good thing is you have those other students to put you through, as opposed to a fashion school where you're all on the same level and you're all learning at the same time. So if you all don't get it, you all don't get it. That's just it. But in a tailor shop, if you don't get it, you have your senior colleagues that already know it, that can put you through. So that's a plus. with a fashion school, it's not usually a plus. Think about it like when you're in secondary school or you're in uni. If all of you don't get it, you don't get it. Maybe one student will get it, and that one student might be doing shakara, might not want to teach you. So you have to think about things like that. So you probably learn better in a tailor shop where, the oldest might teach you, or someone immediately before you can teach you, and you can learn a lot as opposed to a fashion school. So you have to think about that. One important point, which is usually the deal breaker for me, is cost. So a fashion school at a tailor shop, which do you think is going to be more expensive? Obviously a fashion school. Don't get me wrong, there's some tailor shops that are very expensive these days, so don't even get it wrong. But the chances, a fashion school is definitely going to be more expensive because they probably do have a lot to offer in terms of like I said, you're not struggling for sewing machines, workspace and things like that. It's very structured. They'll probably teach you more things in a short time as opposed to a tailor shop where you'll be learning for 2 years, 3 years, 23 years. They are very structured. So one semester or one whole session can be 6 months to 1 year, but a tailoring shop, they don't have. They might probably even tell you that the minimum they will take from you is 2 years. And then you're learning how to sew for 2 years. Why would you learn how to sew for 2 years? If it's just sewing that you're learning, you shouldn't be learning for 2 years. You should be learning for like 6 to 1 year. Except if they have other courses like business management, like fashion designing, drafting and things like that, then it might take a longer time. But if it's just sewing, pattern drafting and sewing, I don't understand why people learn for 2-3 years. You shouldn't. If your tailor says, if the boss says, this is how I teach, know that the first 1 year or a total of 2 years out of your 3 years, you're going to use to learn how to join. You're going to be sewing their customers' clothes. Shikena, don't even argue. Don't argue. We know. So those are the things that I think you need to think about, because for a fashion school, you're not sewing customers' clothes. You're sewing for yourself. You're learning for yourself. So it's not like they're bringing in, joining. If they're doing that, that's not a fashion school. That's a tailor shop. Trust me. Fashion schools are meant to be very organized. So if they're bringing in their customers' clothes for you to sew in a fashion school, that's a tailor shop. They just have more equipment than the regular ones. That's it. I hope what I've said so far can help you in deciding if you want to learn from a fashion school or a tailor shop. If you have any other questions or you need further clarification, please put it down in the comment section below and I'll try to answer your questions as soon as I can. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button below. You'll be supporting my channel and it actually encourages me to make more videos for you guys, to teach you guys what I know, even if it's not that much, but the little I know I can actually help you guys. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video.